This is terrible. What? What's all these different lights?
Do you want blue or you want yellow? Yes.
Why?
Why is there a camera next to you?
We're filming the people filming the behind the scenes. So there we have Rick, Daimauzer der Afonso, and Mark bei Toffer der Naga Mastered.
These are the guys that don't get enough recognition because they're behind the cameras the entire time, and finally they're in front of a camera. Albeit we got the really expensive C300s, the Canons, and they got an iPhone.
Yeah, that's great.
How do you feel?
Great, feel great.
Good.
Nice.
All right, shall we begin?
Let's
begin.
I'm Winston Stozel.
And I'm Matthew Time,
For over a decade, we've lived in southern China,
making YouTube videos that give outsiders a unique insight into Chinese culture.
Having already conquered the south, we're going out of our comfort zones
Into the north.
We're shipping our bikes all the way to Qingdao.
From there, we'll ride for 40 days across 5 provinces, covering 10,000 kilometers on one of the most grueling and punishing rides we've ever done.
From the beautiful coastlines of Shandong
To the vast, open grasslands of Inner Mongolia.
skirting around one of the world's most sensitive borders.
Let's not get shot today, guys. Until we reach China's northernmost point, Mohe.
We'll be immersing ourselves in traditional cultures,
Delving deeper into the country's hidden history.
You know, this is just built so tough they couldn't destroy it. Tasting some of the wildest food we've ever tried.
It moves in your mouth and you bite it.
People think of China as just one country.
But the north couldn't be any more different than the south.
As you'll discover,
In conquering northern China.
Simok, we are now sitting in our hotel room in the last place. We've been on the road for over a month.
Yeah, 40 days to be exact. I mean, when you're riding that long on the road, they kind of the days bled into each other. It is also a little bit crazy that right now we're doing the behind the scenes interviews literally right after we finish the trip.
Yeah.
Actually, the trip's not even over if you really think about it.
It's right, but it's good because everything's still fresh on our minds. You know, we've just finished wrapping up. Simok,
Yo,
we're about to uncrate our bikes.
already did the other one.
One of them's done anyway. About to uncrate my bike. Well, what do you think? How do you feel?
I feel like I just want to get on the road at this point, and I'd rather not be doing this, get the splinters and stuff. But at the end of the day, we are going to be on the road tomorrow, and I'm super, super pumped to actually see something outside of Qingdao. It's been awesome here, though.
Yeah, no, we're ready to hit the road. It's going to be hard. We had a monster burger today.
Yeah, we did. Keep in mind, it's been 2 years since we filmed the last one, so this is pretty intense stuff, and it's double the length this time.
And we're in completely uncharted territory. Neither of us have ridden anywhere in
My
this
bike's
area.
never touched a road in this entire
Yeah.
region, so
It's going to be quite challenging, I think.
for sure.
Yeah, we're anxious but excited.
For sure. Well, I guess I'll see you on the road.
Ready to go? Go. Let's cruise.
If only we could actually go.
Yeah, now I gotta go back and do it again.
I think it's really easy to kind of fall in this trap that you generalize the place that you live in as the entire country, and I think that these trips always serve as a really good way for us to open our eyes again. I mean, you've been to Shenzhen actually the entire time that you've lived in China. You've traveled around, but you've only lived in Shenzhen, right? With an apartment and stuff. I've lived around a couple different cities and stuff, but for the majority of my time, it's in a little city in Guangdong province. So a lot of my perceptions of China come from that little city. And whenever I do trips like these, like especially we went up to the north and saw all the different Korean minorities and Mongolian people and the Russians within China and stuff, completely open your eyes again. Although we knew those people existed, to see them firsthand made me realize again how big and diverse China actually is.
Yeah, for me it just confirmed everything that I suspected. You know, the places I hadn't been yet and the things I hadn't seen, I kind of expected them to be exactly as they were. So for me it was good to go there and just get that confirmation. And it was very refreshing to get out of the south for a while and go to all these interesting and cool places. So it was really, really great fun.
Okay, we don't look at the cameras then.
Yeah, it's stable.
Mark's got a gimbal in his elbows.
Sea milk! Why are we here in a parking lot next to a road?
Because we're too dirty to go in the mall, apparently, in Yenzhai. By the way, nice city, but we're not allowed anywhere according to the producers. They said, we'll go buy your food, you wait here next to your bikes, like animals.
Yeah, so the real deal is that we can't leave the bikes unlocked, and C-Milk's bike lock is in the car.
They're too lazy to grab it for me.
They were too lazy to go and fetch it for him. Because, I mean, yeah, people think, oh yeah, just it's quick, we're just gonna pop in for a meal. But you know how many people I know who've been like, oh yeah, I'll just pop in for lunch and come out and there's no bike.
It doesn't matter how shit your bike is either. Look at that.
Yeah, look at this. Look at this piece of crap over here. Even this little rusted old horrible bicycle over here is chained to the wall or chained to the fence, you know? And everything's chained. If it can be chained down, they chain it, man.
Today's video is brought to you by Surfshark VPN. We always use a VPN when we're on the internet. Why? Well, it masks your connection. Nobody can see what you're doing online, and not only does that keep you safe, it keeps you private too. Surfshark is fantastic. It's reached a coverage of over 100 countries, and it's the only VPN that can do that. What I can tell you is that when we use Surfshark VPN, we don't have to worry about losing any speed or anything because it's fast and easy to use as you connect to the server that offers the best speed by default. As a world traveler, you actually might use Surfshark VPN to overcome location-based price discrimination on plane tickets or car rentals by connecting to VPN servers in different countries. I'm not even joking. If you see that you're getting ripped off on some sort of site when you're buying plane tickets, all you have to do is switch over to a different server and you'll get a better deal. With Surfshark, you can unlock 15 largest Netflix country libraries, including the US and Japan, by merely connecting to a server in the right country. Have you ever looked up online and see that your favorite show or something that you want to watch isn't available in your country? Well, that's not an issue. If you go to surfshark.deals/ADVChina and you use the code ADVChina, you're gonna get 83% off a 2-year plan plus 3 extra months for free. Thank you very much.
So our crew obviously is not sitting on the back of our motorcycles, although that would be
That'd be awful. That'd be awful. No, it's
I was thinking
never gonna happen.
It's
No.
a good way for them to understand how we feel sitting on those hard seats for 40 days in a row. But either way, they basically rented a car. We had a Peugeot 3008, I believe. It's a little kind of 4x4 thing. I don't even think it has four-wheel drive.
But it's an SUV.
Yeah,
But it's ridiculous. 1.6 liter engine.
Yeah, there's no power or anything. But we loaded it up with all the gear, and basically what they would do is stay behind us and say, hey, pull over for the shot. Hey, go talk to this person. Hey, do this and this and this. And although most of the interactions that we had were completely natural, they always had to be there in case they spotted something that we didn't see or vice versa.
Yeah.
So we're constantly in communication. They had an intercom in the car, and then we would talk to them through our helmets about which shots we were going to get, what to film, and where to go. So that was kind of how they got around, and it was I think they had a really comfortable time in that beautiful
Air-conditioned car, yeah.
Tell us about what's going on.
Pouring rain right now. We're in the mountains on our way to freaking North Korean border. We're soaking wet. It's freezing, and it just started hailing as well. And then then the lightning struck.
Yeah, it's actually quite intense out here. We're completely soaked. Hopefully our electronics and stuff aren't damaged. Kind of managed to shove them all down deep in my bag. And yeah, we'll see how it goes.
I mean, like, it was so pleasant this morning, and after last night I was like, well, at least we have a warm day. Well, here we go again.
Yeah, it's actually incredibly cold, and it's hailing, and we're wet, so we're not going to be happy campers. We've still got a long way to go. So, let's hit the road, eh? Let me explain to you how the whole intercom system works, because some people are probably curious. We just have motorcycle intercoms, and we just got a third one, which I then sort of hacked up and manufactured into a set of earphones.
Yeah.
So they can sit with the earphones on with a boom mic, and it's like a helmet intercom. And then we can have a 3-way conversation up to about 1 kilometer. And let's go over the team, really. It's 5 people in total. It's, of course, myself and C-Milk, and then Rick and Mark.
Right.
And the 5th person, of course, is our driver, Chinese driver. Doesn't speak a lick of English, and he was, very, very instrumental for this all being done. Because,
For sure.
We could often rely on him to help us out of sticky situations, or to, translate for us, or to call someone up ahead of time to confirm, etc., etc.
Although Winston and I speak Chinese, like there's a lot of times where it's just better to have a Chinese-looking person deal with sensitive situations, just because it smooths it over. It's not language barrier at that point. It's about oh, I'm Chinese, you're Chinese, let's smooth this over.
Yeah, like when that government official pulled us over in wherever it was and started questioning us. He just said, hey, just get lost, we're not doing anything wrong, and then we just left. It was kind of funny. Anyway, let me explain how this team got together very briefly, if you don't know the story. Rick used to work, in fact Rick and Mark both used to work for China Radio International, which is a big TV and radio broadcasting thing in China. And they were doing a thing about South Africans in China, and through a friend of mine they heard about me, and Rick came down as part of the team to film a short documentary about me, which is on my YouTube channel.
So you're in Shenzhen and you don't know what to do? Come with me and I'll show you.
And during that time we kind of got to know each other, and we were talking about doing things in the future, and he found out that, you know, every year I'd been doing these motorcycle adventures, and then recently like C-Milk and I used to have been starting to do them together. And so he was like, well, why don't we make a documentary when you do your next one? And I said, yeah, great, let's get C-Milk involved and let's do it. And so that's kind of how it all came together. And of course Mark is a good friend of Rick, and they work together, they do fantastic work together with cameras and stuff, so it just naturally came together. We all funded it ourselves last time, and did it in our own time, and it was expensive and it was a big risk, but the result was fantastic. I think you can agree.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the fantastic work that they did made the second one possible, and with our fan base and stuff, everyone is super keen to see the next one. So that's how the second season started, was on Kickstarter. Behind the scenes, we actually just took off and they took the shot. Now, to make this completely fake, they actually have to go back and they had to get on the boat. So that's how that shot was made. It's completely real. Well, I mean, so now you guys, when you watch back the episode, you won't enjoy it very much.
谢谢你们小伙子。啊，不用，谢谢。老板，我们是不是很年轻、很漂亮？年轻好。Yes。小伙子年轻好。好，谢谢。谢谢。
Oh, Winston, butter shoes. This Laoban here, this boss here, this restaurant, he keeps calling us young and beautiful, and he keeps touching us and taking our photos. He's kind of like a Chinese priest. What are you, Polish? It's here.
I lost all that coming.
Winston, right behind you, there's a dog meat restaurant. You gonna go get a snack? There it goes. You want to get some dog meat with me? Trying to cut down. Have you ever had dog meat? Nah.
Mark in the corner is currently filming different brands of condoms, different kinds of condoms.
Stoop to a new low this season, boys. Yeah. This kid-friendly show.
Yeah.
I'd say every day we would usually wake up at about 6.
Can you believe it is 4:30 a.m.?
I believe it because my alarm went off and I checked my phone, and indeed that was the time. However, I wasn't very happy.
Be on the road by 7. In conquering southern China, we were actually waking up much earlier, but we budgeted a little more time for the shoots this time, so it worked out a little bit better. But it was difficult. I mean, some of these hotels that you stay in don't offer the nicest nights of sleep.
This is not how things should be.
No.
Correct?
Yes.
But
Why is there a camera next to you?
No, never mind that. This is bothering me that I have to look up to the ceiling and see both of us lying in the same fucking bed.
I'm just gonna turn it for this way.
Please turn off the light. Wait, don't. Maybe leave it on. This is terrible. What? What's all these different lights?
Do you want blue or do you want yellow? I can go full
That's terrible. Okay, enough of this shit. Good night. This is awful.
We'd wake up pretty tired every day, I'd say. About 6 o'clock. We'd
Dirty
pack up.
too.
Dirty too.
Yeah.
A lot of times we didn't have showers. We would pack up our bags, pack up the car, pack up all the camera gear and stuff, and usually we would try to find a place that either had coffee, which 90% of the time didn't exist because we're in the middle of nowhere. But those 10% of times we would find like a little KFC, get some Arabica bean coffee that we so much appreciate. And usually find some little kind of small roadside places, get steamed buns and breakfast and things like that. Maybe 10-20 minutes later we'd hit the road, and we would always have kind of a certain amount of shots that we'd get in mind during the day.
I'd say on average we were riding 12-hour days at least.
Yeah, sometimes 16.
Yeah, sometimes 16. And a couple of times we rode into the night, which is incredibly dangerous in China. And I never, ever suggest anyone does that, especially on a motorcycle.
I'd like everybody to realize just how dangerous it is to ride around at night. Here. Turn off your brights, thank you. These completely unlit roads in the middle of the mountain areas. I mean, this, to be honest, is a lot safer than the truck roads that we're usually on, but you know, visibility is awful. See? Nothing. And then something.
But sometimes it's inevitable because there are towns where you can't stay, where foreigners are not allowed to stay, and then we just have to push on.
Hey Simo, how are you feeling?
I haven't felt worse in a long time. We finally made it to the hotel and they don't know what to do with the passports.
I know.
Yeah, 一起付. So yeah, we have made it. It was incredibly cold, incredibly unpleasant, unlit roads. A truck almost rode us over. No joke. It was one of the closest calls we've ever had riding in China. Yeah, we're finally at the hotel, but they're having trouble figuring out like what visas are, etc. And trying to look for the visas in our passports. It's frustrating.
What I'm going to talk to you about right now is what happened last night, real quick, and maybe he can chime in. Basically, we had to take a ferry all the way from Shandong province to Liaoning province, so we are currently in province number 2. So we ended up arriving in Dalian, and Dalian is a city where they have blanket ban motorcycles. Now, for us to ride through Dalian is a really big task because like if we lose our bikes then the show is over, right? So what we decided to do is ride at least 50 k's away from Dalian that night. But we expected to arrive there about 9:30, maybe ride for an hour, arrive at a hotel at 10:30, no problem, right? And we ended up at this town called Pulandian. And on the map they said that there was a 7 days inn, which is like this chain hotel in China. And unfortunately, when we showed up to this godforsaken town, I mean, this place was just absolutely terrible. It was like this ghost town. No one was around. There was all these abandoned buildings everywhere. When we showed up at the train station there, where the 7 days inn was located, we noticed that it was completely counterfeit. They had actually faked an entire hotel chain. So yeah, basically we were at this fake hotel chain who said that they had 3 rooms for us, so we didn't care, right? We were like, whatever. So the woman comes out after confirming that there's 3 hotel rooms for us, and she says, "Are you guys foreigners?" And we're like, "Yeah." She goes, "Oh, we can't accept foreigners here." And Winston and I have been through this situation many times in China, where they just say, "No, we don't accept foreigners." Usually that means their hotel is not actually a legal hotel, because they have no way of registering people that stay there. And for foreigners, they know that they could get into deep trouble, so they just kind of kicked us out. So it is now like almost 1 a.m. and we decide that we're gonna go to the nearest hotel chain that accepts foreigners. So we get on the phone, find out that there's a home inn, which we're in right now, in the next town over, and we are now in Fangdian, which is some random place that is the home of ball bearings, believe it or not. They make most of the world's ball bearings.
Spider-Mark, Spider-Mark.
People popping out, call them poppers.
Poppers, yeah.
Motherfucker. You. So, behind me over there is North Korea.
Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed this first part of our behind the scenes of conquering northern China. We had an absolute blast.
If you guys are interested in seeing the entire show, go to vimeo.com/ondemand/conquering China box set. You're going to get everything behind the scenes, all the stuff that was cut out of the show or stuff that we couldn't release for certain reasons.
Yeah, and of course you get to see the show, which is still our most favorite thing we've ever done. So hopefully you get to see it, and we'll catch you in the next one.